Beverly Hills.
It's right here on the corner, folks. Anybody have a guess?
Pretty Woman.
Very good, Pretty Woman. That's the famous fire escapes from Pretty Woman. And we're now on Rodeo Drive, everyone. Now, Rodeo Drive started out as a railroad spur back in the 20s. They started as partial off lots. They sold the lots down here for $1,100 a lot. By 1935, they were $30,000. In 1958, a gentleman bought this corner right behind us where Tiffany sits for $250 million. This is called the Golden Triangle because of the price of real estate. And anybody who's a designer is here on this street. To your left, you can see Louis Vuitton. The street was started by a gentleman by the name of Fred Heyman. He brought the first shop here. Of course, it was Giorgio of Beverly Hills. A year later, he brought in Van Cleef, which is right on the corner. Then they had Vidal Sassoon come in, and then they had Armani come in. Gucci, Michael Kors, you name it, they're in here. Roberto Cavalli is right here on the right, and on the corner is Cartier. You got Chanel across the street
from this street. Nothing. Maybe
now the House of Bajan's very easy to spot down here, the men's clothing store, because Mr. Bajan owns a canary yellow convertible Rolls Royce that he parks in front of the shop every day. There it is, folks.
Camera ready.
And you can see his parking meter's the same color. The shop's right there. It runs about almost 3 kilometers all the way to the border of West Hollywood. You see some of the old Hollywood homes on the left. Most of the stars do not live in this area. They live up on the Hollywood Hills, which we'll see later on here in a little bit. The next street is called Canon Drive. To your right is Restaurant Row. You got Spago down here, Scalia, all the famous restaurants that used to be on the Sunset Strip are down here on Canon Drive on the right. This tall building over here is City Hall for Beverly Hills. Next to it is the Beverly Hills Police Station. Both of these famous for the Beverly Hills cop movies with Eddie Murphy. It's now called the Rainbow Grill. Right next to it is the theater, the Roxy Theater. It's another musical club. It's owned by a gentleman by the name of Louie Adler. He owns both the Rainbow Grill and the Roxy Club. And he's a famous record producer. Actually produced Tapestry with Carole King, all the Mama and Papa's hits. And those of you that are basketball fans would recognize him because he's always sitting to Jack Nicholson, next to Jack Nicholson at the Laker games. He's a tall looking guy with a beret and a beard and sunglasses. But the Rainbow Grill's here on your left. Right next to it's the Roxy. U2 showed up there last summer and did a gig. And that's where Lennon and Henry Nielsen started hanging out in that bar after they got kicked out of the Troubadour. Coming up on the left corner at the light is the world famous Whiskey A Go Go. The house band in the 60s was The Doors. Of course, if you've ever seen the movie The Doors with Val Kilmer, there's a scene where he's out in front of the Whiskey standing on the top of a car and he's talking to everybody that's standing in line trying to get into the Whiskey A Go Go. This is where they filmed it, right here on the left. big guitar on the whiskey, you can't miss it. Coming up on the right, about halfway down the block, is the famous Viper Room. Was once owned by Johnny Depp. It's where in 1993 on Halloween night, the actor River Phoenix walked out and fell down dead right outside here on the sidewalk. In the 40s, it was known as the Melody Room, and it was Bugsy Siegel's favorite hangout. Now, Johnny Depp sold the Viper Room to the daughter of his business partner, and she in turn sold it to the son of the guy that owns all the Hard Rock cafes. So they're going to take the Viper Room international here pretty quick. We're going to start to get into some of the cafes. Here's the first one on the right, the State Social House. Stars will come down into this area if they want to be seen. If you're friendly enough and nice enough, they may even pose for a picture. Building here on your left looks like a castle. It's actually a hotel. It's called the Chateau Marmont, and it's where John Belushi overdosed. John Belushi, most famous for being one of the original cast members of Saturday Night Live, and I guess his most famous movies are Animal House and Blues Brothers. We're now on Hollywood Boulevard. We're going to drop down to the Walk of Fame here. This is all old Hollywood from the 30s and 40s in here. A lot of these bungalows have been turned into apartments for young people to live in nowadays. You can start to see the stars in the sidewalk here on both sides. Everybody's looking down, of course. All right, this next light is Orange Street. To your right here on the corner, oh, we're going to get stopped, so it'll be good to see, is the Roosevelt Hotel. The lobby entrance is right here. You can see it says Roosevelt Hotel on the right. Madame Tussauds is on the left-hand side corner. If you go down 2 buildings, you'll see the Chinese Theater on your left, and you'll see everybody standing on the footprints. It's amazing how well the cement's held up, too. The guy that they were talking about in the documentary knew what he was doing, because some of them look like they were done yesterday, and they're 50 years old. These tents are, and these trucks are on the left. That's the Chinese Theater. Looks like they're getting ready to put a premiere on there for something. But if there's people walking through there looking at the footprints, you can see them all behind there. Looks like the new Batman movie is going to premiere there. To your left is the Hard Rock Cafe. Then comes the Dolby Theater. The Dolby Theater is where they just had the Academy Awards. To your right, you can see this group of people. They're all trying to get in to see Jimmy Kimmel Live today. This is the check-in line. And then next to that is the El Capitan Theater, where on April 6th they're going to world premiere the new Disney movie, Jungle Book. I guess it's a remake of an old movie, I should say. Now over to your left, you can see people going up an escalator. There's a break there. That's an emporium. There's 3 levels to that emporium. There's restaurants, bars, shops, and there's catwalks at each level. That's where you get your picture of the Hollywood sign. You can go all the way up to the top. And I'll slow down in here and you'll actually see the sign in between the buildings here and all the catwalks. All right, you're gonna see this coachman on your left of this Penske truck. Look right up into the hillside and you'll see the Hollywood sign. That's where you get your pictures on those catwalks up there. We're gonna turn the corner. This is Highland and we're gonna park behind this parking lot here. And I'll let everybody out and I'll give you your maps and you have 2 hours to do your thing. Anybody looking for the Marilyn Monroe star, it's right here in front of this McDonald's. Right in front of us. Her handprints and footprints are at the theater. They're 2 different things. Hollywood High here on the left. You can see the big mural of John Ritter.
If you like the videos, give it a big thumbs up and leave me a comment. I always reply to comments. Let me know if you're coming to Vegas or you want to know anything about Vegas and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So give it a big thumbs up and give it a share. Thanks a lot guys, everybody. Thank you so much for your support.